On this Tuesday night, a dramatic rescue.
I was crying about I was gonna die.
Her car plunged into an icy pond, water rushing in, her 4-year-old strapped in the back seat.
In that moment, you just panic. So I was just, how am I gonna get her out?
How a mother's quick thinking saved both their lives.
It doesn't need to be complicated, folks. It just needs to be nutritious.
Ottawa unveils the new food guide. Fruits and veggies dominate the plate. It may be healthy, but is it practical?
Bad night of sleep for me is 2 hours.
4 to 6 would be the average.
The cause of your sleepless nights could be a dangerous condition. Most who have it don't even know. What you need to know before you head to bed. This is The National.
We begin tonight with a story of survival against incredible odds. A Nova Scotia woman's car careened into a pond. Her young child buckled into a car seat. Panic set in as the water rose, but she snapped into action. And as Brett Ruskin tells us, what she did next was astonishing and life-saving.
Our car was about to go down in the water, and I was about to drown.
4-year-old Macy and her mother Ashley Holland were in the car driving along this road, headed to a birthday party for one of Macy's friends.
Me and her just chatting, and we're driving, and then all of a sudden, I think we hit black ice. I don't know if it was just slush or black ice, and we just started fishtailing, and then the car just completely spun, and it just started rolling down that little hill there, and we landed on the roof in the water.
Holland had seconds to act. Hanging upside down, she got her seatbelt undone. Then she had to get to Macy, still buckled into her car seat.
I was crying about I was gonna die.
Yeah. It was scary, wasn't it?
But I'm still alive.
You are. I might cry. Sorry.
The pair scrambled through a broken passenger window to get out, just as the floating car flipped back around and settled on the bottom. Holland waded through ice-filled water, trying to keep Macy dry by holding her above her head. And it could have been worse. On a normal day, Holland's other child, her 14-month-old daughter, would have also been in the car, but she was homesick with Dad. After the pair escaped their submerged vehicle, they climbed up this icy embankment, and there just happened to be a fire truck passing on its way to another call. On that fire truck, Ryan Richard.
It was just perfect timing that the stars were aligned. Everything worked out extremely well for everybody, and can't say enough about the mom. She's definitely a hero. To be able to save her own life and her daughter's life is something that we just don't see. The mother and daughter were taken to hospital. They were checked out, warmed up, and released. And believe it or not, they still went to the birthday party.
After we got discharged from the hospital, that was all she cared about, was getting to that party, and they literally lived 2 minutes down the road. So before we came home, I was like, if that's what she wants today, she can literally have anything she wants.
Holland says it will be a while before she drives down that stretch of road again. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Hantsport, Nova Scotia.
You don't need to be a supermom to escape a sinking car, though it helps. Experts say the key is remembering this mantra: seatbelts, windows, out. As soon as you hit the water, unbuckle your seatbelt. Next, get a window open, even if you have to break the glass. You could try using your shoes, laptops, or umbrellas. Focus on the passenger or driver's side. The windshield is heavier and the front of the car usually sinks first. Then get the kids out before yourself. Start with the oldest child, who may be able to help with the younger ones. And consider keeping a tool like this in your car. A safety hammer will break windows and cut seatbelts. And Rosemary, some people may be thinking this is so rare, it's not going to happen to them, but on average, about 35 Canadians drown in vehicles every year, so worth being prepared.
Sure, and I think she was a super mom for sure. All right, let's turn now to another story that affects all of us, the food we eat. And tonight, Canada has its first new food guide in more than a decade. The joy of a fine meal is something anyone can understand. But what makes for good food? Well, that's divisive. Fair to say that the government has made a bold statement.
We are officially unveiling Canada's new food guide, and I think we deserve a round of applause for that.
Behind the health minister's chipper tone is a radical overhaul. This happy rainbow is the old guide, last updated in 2007. This is the new one. Behold the plate. The 4 food groups with specific servings are gone. Fruits and vegetables dominate half the plate. Proteins in one corner, a few bits of meat, poultry, eggs, and dairy scattered amongst plant sources. Whole grain foods make up the balance. All of it served with a glass of water, no juice. But it's not just what you eat, but how. As the health minister said,
Food is everything we are.
food is also big business, and for the meat and dairy farmers, the guide isn't really good news. Tonight, we'll look at what it means for industry. But first, here's Christine Birak with a closer look at the guide's recommendations and how they fit with real life and real Canadians.
What we should be eating up against what you may be eating.
Unfortunately for the poor chickens, they taste so good.
Canadians are dining out more than ever before. Even if leafy greens make the menu, they often miss the plate.
So I'm kind of being a hypocrite, but definitely we need to, change the mindset of how we eat.
To that end, the new food guide recommends Canadians be more mindful of their eating habits, cook more food at home, and sit down to enjoy it with family or others. To make it all easier, forget serving sizes and food groups. Now it's all about proportions.
I was thrilled to see this food guide. I've been a very vocal critic for many, many years, and never would I guessed that they would change as much as they have.
Using evidence-based reviews instead of industry input, the new food guide warns against eating processed and prepared foods high in salt, sugar, and saturated fats.
The removal of fruit juice and sugar-sweetened milks as parts of a healthy diet is a very important thing for our kids, especially in our schools, and especially with the rise of childhood obesity here in Canada.
I worry in case it makes parents feel bad.
The day's lunch being served up at this Toronto elementary school is vegetable curry. The nonprofit running this food program likes the new food guide, but says veggies and fruits aren't cheap.
Where we fall short is we don't do enough in this country to ensure that each Canadian child has access to the kind of food that we are recommending for them.
Add to that, many families are up against a time crunch.
It's very easy to make pasta and sauce, and be on your way, macaroni and cheese, that sort of thing. But I think with a little guidance and a little information, I think it's very achievable.
A food makeover that Canadians will chew over for years to come. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
Of course, at the end of the day, the food guide is just recommendations from the federal government, but these changes will have a major impact on what millions of Canadians eat. First, the food guide is taught in schools right down to kindergarten. And for many Canadians, it's the first contact they'll have with ideas about healthy eating, and that will have a subtle impact throughout their lives. But the guide also informs meal planning in regulated institutions. That means food is likely going to change in hospitals, prisons, military bases, retirement homes, long-term care facilities, and yes, daycares. Of course, there are those who don't like the changes to the food guide. As Briar Stewart tells us, it's the industries that saw their portion of the plate shrink today.
At Creekside Dairy, life revolves around taking care of all the cows.
We milk 100 cows here, so including the young stock, we have about 220 animals on farm.
Which is why Julien Treux was interested in just where milk products fit into the new food guide.
It might decrease consumption of dairy overall because it doesn't have its own specific group, but it's good to see that Health Canada does recognize the benefits of dairy in a healthy diet.
It recommends that people consume low-fat options, which is concerning to many in the industry. There are more than 10,000 dairy farms across Canada, and the group that represents producers says the new food guide doesn't represent the latest scientific evidence when it comes to dairy's nutritional value. They point to studies that suggest higher fat dairy has health benefits.
We're noticing that people are really interested in full-fat dairy.
Which is what Treux says customers are increasingly interested in: butter, full-fat yogurt, and cream. Because there's a push for more plant-based proteins, the beef industry feels it's taking a back seat.
So it's a little disappointing when you see statements saying that they'd like to replace meat with more vegetables and legumes. It takes so much more calories of vegetables to give the same amount of protein that a single serving of beef or red meat does.
But for those who've made a business around plant-based foods, the new guide is welcome news.
This is where all the magic starts. organic fresh seafood.
Particularly for this restaurant named after this protein-packed legume.
In Hebrew, chickpea means hummus, which is one of our main dishes here. Full of protein, full of calcium, potassium.
The owners say some warn them about the risks of opening a vegan restaurant, but business is great.
Some chickpea fries. Everybody's like really into it. They want to introduce more plant-based foods into their diet. And then the guide comes out and it's basically saying same thing. Hummus plate.
Which they say only reinforces a diet they've been serving up for years. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
I'm going to be hungry for like an hour now. Food is culture, and Indigenous Canadians have their own traditions, of course, when it comes to food. So Health Canada officials say they are working to reflect that, consulting with Indigenous Services Canada and First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities to develop updated food guides for specific regions and cultures. No word yet on when that will be released. A major development to tell you about in the Meng Wanzhou case. The U.S. Department of Justice says it will formally ask Canada to extradite the chief financial officer of Chinese tech giant Huawei. That announcement all but ensures a drawn-out, bitter dispute between the three countries. And as Katie Simpson tells us, in public and in private, Ottawa has some sharp words for Washington.
For the rich and influential, the World Economic Forum in Davos is the place to be and to be seen. For Canada, the Posh Business Summit is a new backdrop to deliver its message to China.
The detention of Ms. Meng was not about a Canadian case against her. She is not accused of anything in Canada. She is neither charged nor convicted of anything in Canada.
In an interview with Bloomberg, the Foreign Affairs Minister emphasized it is the Americans who demanded Meng Wanzhou's arrest, not Canada. This is a sore point for the Canadians, so much so that Canada's ambassador in Washington, David McNaughton, has even complained to the Trump administration that Canada is sick of bearing the brunt of China's anger since the Americans started this dispute.
I think the ambassador to the U.S., McNaughton, expressed some of our frustration to say, we're doing the right things. Now, U.S., it's time for you to step up.
Sources tell CBC News senior members of the Trump administration, including Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and National Security Advisor John Bolton, have personally pledged to do anything to help Canada. While the sentiment is welcome, sources say Ottawa is skeptical. But still, Beijing is accusing both countries of abusing the extradition process while demanding Huawei CFO be released immediately.
Did you violate the sanctions?
A message that is now more urgent as the U.S. confirms it will formally file extradition paperwork by the January 30th deadline.
What it does show us, though, is that the United States and Canada obviously are continuing along the path that their legal systems have set in motion here, and that they are not going to be bullied.
Chrystia Freeland is not ruling out meeting with Chinese officials in Davos this week. She'll also sit down with more international allies to try to rally additional support for Canada. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
This diplomatic dispute began with the arrest of Meng Wanzhou more than 7 weeks ago now. But news today that the U.S. will request her extradition doesn't mean the conflict is close to ending anytime soon. The U.S. has just 8 days left to submit the evidence they're relying on to have Meng extradited. Lawyers at the Justice Department here in Ottawa will then have 1 month to determine if the request complies with our extradition treaty with the U.S. Once that happens, a formal extradition hearing will be scheduled before a judge. And if the court approves, it's still ultimately up to Justice Minister David Lametti to decide whether Meng will be handed over to the United States. There are a number of opportunities for Meng to appeal throughout that whole process, and that means the final decision could still be years away.
Now, today, the Vice President of the United States issued a controversial message. It wasn't aimed at Americans or Congress. It was a public show of support for the people of Venezuela. Mike Pence encouraged demonstrators who are planning nationwide protests tomorrow in that beleaguered country. But as Paul Hunter explains, the government of Venezuela says Pence is just inciting violence.
The fury in Venezuela has been on a slow build for years, but lately rising rapidly. Out Maduro, they say, leave or be thrown from office. Nicolas Maduro, the discredited president who began his second term in office this month. after elections widely condemned as rigged, with multiple countries, including Canada, now labeling his government illegitimate. The country itself is a wreck. On top of hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine are so severe it leaves countless now eating garbage to survive. This week, amid the chaos, a message on social media.
Pueblo, salgan, apóyennos.
Take to the streets, join us, the soldier urged Venezuelans, but the armed men were quickly subdued by government forces.
Hola, I'm Mike Pence.
Today, the U.S. Vice President sent this message directly to the people of Venezuela, pledging unwavering American support.
Nicolas Maduro is a dictator with no legitimate claim to power.
Pence urged Venezuelans to make their voices heard at demonstrations planned for tomorrow.
Estamos con ustedes. We are with you.
Y nosotros también.
Venezuela's Vice President, Delcy Rodriguez, quickly shot back,
Yankee, go home.
slamming Pence for, as she put it, openly calling for a coup d'etat. Tonight, word Maduro has ordered, quote, a total revision of Venezuelan relations with the U.S. The question now, what will happen at those demonstrations tomorrow as the world watches and the country braces? Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
And to get a hint of what may come tomorrow, take a look at these images. These pictures were taken for CBC a few days ago, Venezuelans planning tomorrow's protests. There's a lot to take to the streets over, but until now, fears of arrests and violent crackdowns seem to have stopped mass uprisings. So will that change?
Cerrado por falta de personal.
Hard to see how the breaking point hasn't already been reached. A few months ago, a young journalist took a camera into a hospital to point out the closed wards, empty shelves, lack of power, and water falling from the ceiling. When we reached out to her this week, she described worsening conditions, people cutting internet and electrical cables to sell them or strip them for copper. Tomorrow, she tells us, will say a lot about how willing people are to risk demanding change.
Here are some of the other stories we're watching tonight. Investigators trying to figure out what caused a fiery train derailment north of Saskatoon. About 30 cars came off the rails, smashing into each other or tipping upside down. The CN train was carrying grain and no one was injured, but a fuel leak from a locomotive sparked a fire.
Liquid fuel, the diesel, is actually flowing, so that and it's igniting at the same time. So it provides some additional challenge to control that.
It took several hours to put the fire out. Heavy equipment is being brought in to move the derailed cars. The Kentucky teenager at the center of this controversial video is speaking out. Nick Sandman says he wishes he'd just avoided the situation.
As far as standing there, I had every right to do so. My position is that I was not disrespectful.
His school, Covington Catholic, was closed today after students received threats in connection to the video. The U.S. Supreme Court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to enforce its ban of some transgender people from the military. The court split along ideological lines, 5 justices to 4, allowing the ban to go ahead while challenges work their way through the court system.
Still ahead on The National, Canadian animators racked up Oscar nominations this morning. Just ahead, you'll meet a few of them. Plus, we continue our series on sleep. Tonight, Duncan looks at a dangerous disorder that goes undiagnosed for many.
And a shift in the car sales industry. Diane Buckner checks out the startups that want to put an end to the pushy used car salesman.
Going to every dealership to have a look at the vehicles that we wanted was less ideal than having somebody bring us the vehicles that we're very interested in, that we've already done our research on.
You've always been able to buy cars on Kijiji, but the online classified service, the biggest in Canada, is about to make it even easier with the launch of a new standalone website and app dedicated to the sale of new and used vehicles. It's just the latest example of how technology is trying to disrupt brick and mortar dealerships. Diane Buckner has the story of a Canadian startup that has big plans for a market it sees as ripe for innovation.
I really like the control interface in this vehicle too.
Trevor Bergman is test driving a 2017 Ford Explorer.
Pretty much all the features in the world on this thing. You know,
he didn't go to a used car dealership though. He used a website called Clutch.
Well, that's like great. Pretty much perfect condition, you know, so. Okay.
A Clutch concierge delivered one of the company's vehicles to Bergman at work to try out. Part of the pitch, no sales commissions, so no pressure to buy.
Even buying a used car has changed thanks to Clutch.
The startup plans to expand this type of service across Canada over the next few years.
Going to every dealership to have a look at the vehicles that we wanted was less ideal than having somebody bring us the vehicles that we're very interested in, that we've already done our research on.
Do you think it's good on mobile to have it below?
In Toronto, there's just a small team at Clutch head office, but the founders see big opportunity.
We truly see Canada as being 30 years behind the US in terms of customer experience for buying a used car.
You can buy a car 100% online.
They point to a number of companies in the American marketplace that are taking the concierge approach. Carvana will deliver a used car to your door.
With Vroom, you can buy your next car from your phone.
So will Vroom. No showrooms or dealerships.
Find the perfect car.
And then there's Shift. Like Clutch, all of these startups offer quality guarantees.
The new entrants have been incredibly successful as well. Carvana now has a multi-billion-dollar market cap. They're operating, I think, in 60-plus markets, and they're killing it. Shift, killing it as well.
Traditional used car dealerships recognize the new competition, but aren't too worried yet.
Most people are still buying their cars at physical dealerships.
How long is that going to last, though, do you think?
Well, I think for a while yet. This digital market is coming. It's coming as more of the tide coming in, I think, than as a tsunami coming in.
Clutch client Trevor Bergman suspects a lot of Canadian consumers will opt for the convenience of buying online, especially since on average the cars are $2,000 cheaper.
I'll be recommending this to everybody that I know. This has been the easiest, most simplistic process to go through.
Clutch may not be the auto industry's only answer to Canadian consumers' growing affection for online convenience. Insiders say more disruptive digital offerings are just around the corner. Diane Buckner, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on the National, part 2 of our special in-depth look at sleep. Tonight, why a common and dangerous disorder can go undiagnosed.
And a huge honor for one of Toronto's favorite ball players, Roy Halladay, has been posthumously voted into the Hall of Fame.
1-2 pitch. He struck him out.
Every time he touched the ball, you knew that you were going to get a great game.
This is hard work. This is hard work. Question for you. Getting enough sleep? The answer is probably no, and if so, you're not alone. Statistics Canada estimates a third of us are getting less than the recommended 7 hours each night. In part 2 of our series, Duncan McHugh explores one of the main reasons why. It's something called sleep apnea, and it may be to blame for that loud snoring or the morning headache. Plus, people who have it are more likely to suffer from things like heart disease and depression, and if that doesn't keep you awake, how's this? 80% of Canadians who have sleep apnea don't even know it. Tonight, what happens when 3 people invite us to spend the night? Here's Duncan.
The big 6-0 is creeping up on Kim Clark, and she's determined to stay healthy. She's a longtime vegetarian. She's physically fit, regularly strolling from her home in Smiths Falls, Ontario, to take a brisk paddle on the Rideau Canal. Life is sweet, but she has one big regret.
If I could change anything about myself, it wouldn't be my height or my weight or boob size or anything like that. It would be my sleeping habits. I have always been a horrible sleeper.
Way past midnight, I'm lying wide awake. The clock is ticking louder, my head begins to ache.
Arthur McGregor sings from the same page as Kim.
I'm waiting for the dawn to set me free. Yeah, I'm waiting for the dawn to set me free.
He even wrote this song about insomnia 20 years ago after his first wife died.
I lay awake for hours reliving yesterday.
Sleep was then elusive. He rarely got 5 hours a night, which left him exhausted and discouraged.
When you find yourself lying awake at 4:30, what's that like for you?
Frustrating usually, and often my brain kicks in and I start worrying, fretting, thinking about things that don't necessarily have a solution at that time.
And then there's Carolyn Mccann. She works out 6 days a week, has been for several years. She can't recall the last time she slept a full 8 hours.
I would go to sleep at maybe 9 and wake up at midnight and not sleep at all the rest of the night. And that happens maybe once every month or once every couple of months, where you get no sleep. And I don't think I'm alone. I think there are a lot of people like that.
Do people talk? Do your friends talk to you about sleep
Yeah,
at all?
they're the
do
same.
they say? What do they say?
They don't sleep either.
And again, next side. Now we are going to pick up the tempo now.
As we all push and strive to stay fit and healthy, sleep often seems an expendable commodity. In fact, 40% of Canadians have insomnia and have trouble getting the recommended 8 hours of shut-eye.
Very nice.
Even gym owner Natasha Gemmel can't do it.
You know, I usually get anywhere from 4 to 5 hours of sleep.
4 to 6 would be the average.
Bad night of sleep for me is 2 hours.
I have a small child, so it's not always exactly 8, but
And you got 8 hours of sleep and you have a small child?
yeah, I'm probably lying. I don't know. Where are we right now?
All that sleeplessness is driving clients straight to Andrew Holmes. He spent years working as a sleep lab technologist, then realized there was a huge need, not to mention a business opportunity, in the diagnosis of sleep disorders. He founded a private clinic in Ottawa called Sleep Efficiency 3 years ago. With so many frustrated sleepers, he's busy as can be.
There's over 100 different types of sleep disorders that have now been recorded, and I know a little bit about all of them and a lot about most of them.
Andrew has analyzed thousands of sleep tests, and the cause of sleep deprivation he sees most often is something called sleep apnea. That's when a sleeping person stops breathing, anywhere from a few to several hundred times a night. It's getting more and more common, especially as Canadians, on the whole, keep getting heavier.
Weight is an issue, and more specifically where you carry the weight as well. If you have a neck circumference larger than 17 inches for males and 16 for females, then the increased chance of sleep apnea goes up. It's excessive weight around your upper airway that can cause the apneas to occur.
Arthur knows he has sleep apnea. His snoring was the tip-off. It was ruining his wife Wendy's sleep.
Ooh, yum.
So, 10 years ago, he got tested and was diagnosed with apnea. He's changed his diet, he's lost weight, and he wears a machine known as a CPAP at night to help his breathing, yet he still sleeps poorly.
It didn't necessarily improve my sleep, but it definitely improved Wendy's sleep.
So, we're sending Arthur, along with Kim and Carolyn, to Andrew's sleep clinic.
Hi, Arthur, how are you?
Hi, well, how are you?
To see if they can get some answers to that age-old question, why can't I sleep?
What we're going to do is just have a little chat about how you're sleeping these days.
Some nights I can't fall asleep.
Been told that I have sleep apnea.
Some nights I go to sleep at 9:30, wake up at midnight.
Right, so what we're going to do tonight is basically a home-based sleep study.
To better understand what exactly is going on while they sleep, Andrew gives them a take-home sleep kit to wear overnight.
So 3 basic pieces that we're going to connect, and it's going to tell us everything we need to know from a respiratory standpoint.
It's crucial they fit properly so he can get accurate readings during their sleep.
And you can see the device actually powers on as soon as you plug the belt in on both sides. There's
The machine will record their breathing,
again to tell us whether or not there's any pauses occurring.
heart rate,
So this can go on your index finger
and oxygen levels.
What happens if I roll over on this?
That's no problem.
Nothing?
Again, sleep in whatever position you want.
Okay.
Andrew stresses he wants them to have as normal a night's sleep as possible.
Yeah.
And as long as he gets 4 hours of recorded sleep from them,
Take this.
he'll be able to shed a little light on what may be giving them their sleep issues.
Okay, sleep well.
Yes, thank you.
So, off they go to give it a try. At home, it's tricky business getting the gizmos all set up, but everyone finally gets the hang of it. The next morning, we check in.
How'd you sleep last night?
Not bad. I think pretty well for pretty much like typical night for a night where I have to take a sleeping pill.
I got about 5 hours sleep, which is, average for me.
I like to sleep on my stomach, and I had that machine there, so I couldn't do that. So I was on my back, which I don't like to sleep on, and then I'd roll to my side, and so yeah, I didn't feel I had a good sleep.
Time for Andrew to crunch the data.
From a recording perspective, it's a success.
The good news, everyone slept enough to get clear results.
So we got about 9 hours worth of recording time. So that's
Kim's up first.
You were in almost all the events that we saw, these small little, what we call hypopneas. So it wasn't necessarily a cessation of breathing. It was a very small reduction of airflow. In those very few events that you had, they were all on your back.
Oh, okay.
So again, if you were to sleep more on your side, there would be next to nothing occurring.
To her surprise, she slept 9 hours, and she has no apnea.
It's better than I thought it was. I mean, like I thought I was probably getting 4 or 5 hours a night of sleep, and I'm not. I'm getting a lot more than that.
I see here you got just under 6 hours, so that's great. We said when you left yesterday,
Arthur
4 hours
is
would be
bracing
the
for
norm.
bad news.
And we noticed that you still have what we would deem a moderate sleep apnea.
Oh, just moderate?
Moderate, yeah. and that's great, because we talked about how you had lost about 15 pounds, and I'm sure that's impacting the results of where you land in the apnea world, so to speak. So you had
Turns out to Arthur, that's actually good news.
I suspect had come down.
I assumed that it was on the high level, right? And now it's on the middle, back to a middle level, which is very positive.
So what we did discover...
Carolyn's results, they come as a bit of a shock.
You have what we would deem as a moderate amount of sleep apnea.
Okay.
So when you're on your back, you're elevated to about 24 times per hour where you have these respiratory disturbances. When you have the pause in the breathing, it causes your oxygen levels to go down. That puts a strain on your cardiovascular system, and over time it will increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. You become an increased risk for things like heart attack, stroke, and congestive heart failure. So
it's a lot to digest. Andrew suggests Carolyn try to lose some weight, and she may need to use a CPAP machine every night, likely for the rest of her life. It's upsetting news.
Like, who wants to go to bed every night with one of these things on, right? So that was my emotional reaction. But I will certainly do something about it. I'm not just going to ignore it.
Why?
Because I don't want to die of a heart attack, right?
Step down.
The hidden dangers of sleep apnea affect millions of Canadians. The majority go undiagnosed and untreated. But determining the cause of those sleepless nights is half the battle. Carolyn intends to keep working out and watching her diet. Kim plans to try meditation and relaxation techniques.
I'm waiting for the dawn to set me free.
As for Arthur, well, he only wishes he could sleep like this. Duncan McHugh, CBC News, Smiths Falls, Ontario.
So our series on sleep has Canadians tossing and turning with questions. I have a few. And tomorrow we're going to try to answer some of them. So here's Andrew with a preview.
The doctor has given me some prescription sleep medication. But my question is, am I actually getting a proper good night's sleep? Am I actually sleeping? Or am I more in a mini drug-induced coma?
Does the support quality and the temperature of a pillow have any bearing on the quality of your sleep?
My question about sleep is, can cannabis help you sleep through the night? Everything from pot to pillow talk. Our panel of doctors takes on your questions about sleep. That's tomorrow night on The National.
And next week, the series continues with sleep-deprived teenagers talking candidly about the effects of getting less than 6 hours a night. That will keep you awake.
When are we going to do news anchors for Sleep Deprived?
Tomorrow.
Next on The National, looking for a little CanCon when you fill out your office Oscar pool? Well, you're in luck. Canadian animators cleaned up in the nominations this morning.
The films that are made here at the National Film Board of Canada, I think they resonate with a lot of people and inspire.
Oh! Victor, I think you should sit down. I'm a gay! Oh, okay.
Here are some other stories we're watching tonight. Netflix is apologizing for the use of footage of the Lac-Mégantic disaster in a movie. Images of the 2013 explosion that killed 47 people were used in the Netflix film Bird Box. The streaming company bought the video from a stock footage company. Despite the apology, Netflix says it won't be removing the images. American singer Chris Brown has now been released from police custody in Paris. He was detained earlier today on allegations of aggravated rape and several drug infractions. Police now have 2 days to decide whether to file charges. This is not the first time the singer has faced legal trouble. In 2009, he pleaded guilty to assaulting then-girlfriend Rihanna, and he's still awaiting trial on charges he punched a photographer. An Olympic champion, Usain Bolt, is declaring his sports life over. The world's fastest man tried to prolong his athletic career by playing soccer in Australia, but a funding deal with the Central Club Mariners fell through last November. Bolt says he'll now turn his focus to other business projects.
As the Syrian civil war enters its 8th year, a team of Canadian archaeologists is just across the border in southern Turkey trying to solve an ancient mystery. They've uncovered a majestic statue, one that could challenge our beliefs about women in the ancient world and ultimately rewrite history. Neil Cooksall shows us why.
Here.
Oh, there's a face!
I'm a little worried about putting the wood any further down because in case there's eyes.
Yeah. That was very exciting when we said, wow, that is really quite stunning because no one had ever found anything like this before.
We tried. It's a risk, but I think we should do it, yeah.
Yep. It's a woman.
She is broken and more than a bit battered, but even in this state, her figure suggests a powerful past. Tim Harrison is leading the team trying to unravel her secrets.
Who was she?
Probably the either queen mother of the founder of the dynasty of Hittite rulers that controlled this region in the first millennium BC in what we call the Iron Age. When the king was away on battles or whatever, on campaigns, the Talmanana, or Queen Mother, would assume the control or the managing of the day-to-day affairs, including the political decision-making and so on of the community.
She is 3,000 years old. Her head and upper torso are about 1 meter long, carved into a ton of stone. Ringlets in a regal style, a shawl over her shoulders, head, and back. They'd already found her king years ago, but she may help rewrite history.
We said that like from day one. We said we were going to find the wife.
I think this discovery is going to force us to rethink maybe what our conventional wisdom has been about what we think the role of women. I think we tend to, get focused on often military or political history, which is, at least in the official historical records that we have, are dominated by male figures. And so we often lose a lot of this other part of the story.
Harrison's team is now developing a computer method to help reconstruct her. With the support of the Turkish Ministry of Culture, the statue is one of nearly 8,000 fragments they've unearthed so far at Tayinat. And the University of Toronto archaeologists believe this area once marked the entrance to a royal citadel. The dig site is in Hatay, in southern Turkey, where history is hidden, often in plain sight. The patchwork of rural land is peaceful, but the war in Syria is dangerously close.
I can say that we've never been threatened or had any concern about our safety. At the same time, yes, we are working right literally on the border, and so it is a constant concern. We believe that the conflicts that are deeply riven in this part of the world are deeply rooted in that ancient history.
The team is in talks to arrange a Canadian exhibition of these treasures. It's one of several projects Harrison is coordinating in the region.
They're between projects in Turkey and Syria and Lebanon, and even in the south in Israel.
Cooperation and a common purpose, perhaps a way to help reconnect a world divided. Nick Coxal, CBC News, Toronto.
Next on The National, a high honor for a former Toronto Blue Jay. Roy Halladay died in a plane crash a little more than a year ago. Tonight he's been voted into Cooperstown. Our moment is next. But first, this year's Oscar nominations are out. There were some surprises and a few firsts.
My son, it is your time.
Black Panther was a box office hit, and it earned praise for its predominantly black cast. And now it is the first comic book adaptation to be nominated for Best Picture.
Hello, this is Ron Stallworth calling. Well, who am I speaking with? This is David Duke, Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
It will be up against Black Klansman, a true story about a black police officer who infiltrates the KKK. In addition to Best Picture, it snagged another notable nomination. That is Spike Lee learning he's up for Best Director, a first in his decades-long career. And we want to mention Roma, a Spanish-language film shot in black and white. Not your typical Oscar contender, but it got the nod for Best Picture and 9 other awards. Roma is tied for most nominations with the dark comedy The Favorite. If you're making Oscar pool picks, you might want to cheer on the home team. You have a lot of choice in animation.
Lorraine's partner is sending her a very clear message. How should she deal with this?
Animal Behavior is one of 3 Canadian cartoons up for Best Animated Short. It's a comedy about 5 animals discussing their problems in group therapy. The Vancouver-based couple behind it already have 1 Academy Award under their belt, but can winning an Oscar ever get old?
With each film you make, it's just lovely to get recognition and people be enthusiastic about it and people watching the films.
It's not easy when you're a single parent.
Much of Animal Behavior was created in their home studio, but that doesn't mean it was easy. They say the trick is nailing concept and character.
The comedy is drawn from real-life situations and emotions that we hope connects with people on a deeper level than just slapstick gags.
Pixar's Bao also got the nod. The 8-minute film nabbed a huge audience last year when it ran alongside Incredibles 2 in theaters worldwide. Written and directed by Domi Shi, it was inspired by her childhood in Toronto.
I always felt like ever since I was little that my mom's always treated me like her precious little dumpling. And I just wanted to explore that relationship between this like overprotective Chinese mom and this like little dumpling that just wants to get away.
Weekend, set in 1980s Toronto, is the 3rd Canadian short nominated. It's about a boy who spends his time off shuffling between divorced parents. So, who will take the trophy home? We'll find out in just over a month. Roy "Doc" Halladay was a legend long before tonight. Over his 12 seasons with the Toronto Blue Jays and 4 with Philadelphia, his toughness, focus, and consistency were hammered home with every pitch. Halladay died last year in a plane crash. He was 40 years old. Now he's being honored as one of the best players of all time, inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Broadcaster Mike Wilner watched Halladay over 7 years with the Jays, and in that time figures he's seen every one of the Hall of Famers' starts. And his reaction is tonight's moment.
Every time he touched the ball, you knew that you were going to get a great game. I think he'd have been thrilled. I mean, this is the ultimate honor for any baseball player. I wonder if he would have modestly said he's not worthy.
You know, I think if you can keep that focus, you know, off yourself, on the team, trying to help, it makes your job a lot easier.
He was kind of tough to get to know. He was quiet, he was private. I had a couple of chances to sort of get him, you know, away from everybody and sit down and have a nice long conversation, and those were great. And he was really sincerely a nice person. Roy Halladay had 12 years of sheer dominance in an era where he was routinely facing guys who were jacked up, looked like the, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and he was getting them out. Roy Halladay's absolutely a Hall of Famer.
And the way this works is that baseball writers have to, write in and vote for it, and so vote for the person they want to see accepted. And sometimes people get nominated and don't get in the first time. He got 85.4% of the vote. You need 75 to get in. And so his wife, Brandy, even mentioned how significant that was, that it was an overwhelming number of people that wanted him to be in the Hall of Fame.
And clearly this means, a lot to baseball fans, but as you mentioned, his wife, to the family, it's everything. His son, Braden Halladay, who's also a ball player, he signed with Penn State, tweeted out, "A great honor for a great player and an even greater person. Proud of you, Dad. I love you."
You guys may remember the night that he died in that plane crash. It was the second night of the new national, right? So it was that Tuesday, and we were wondering how much time to devote on the show to his death. And I remember sitting in the Toronto newsroom and hearing so many people, male, female, young, old, so many people, Blue Jays fans and not, in Toronto, who were touched by his death. And it says a lot about the impact he had on the city of Toronto and really on many people across the country. That is the National for Tuesday, January the 22nd. Good night.